about Siddharth, and then I'll hand over the session to him. So currently he works as a storage technical specialist at Kendall in Bangalore, and have had opportunities to work with various companies and different cultures outside India, like in US and UK. So when you was talking about that journey, it was quite intriguing to me. So I'm excited to have that shared with others as well. So he's had dual degree as well in MSc and MBA in finance, and he has been an alumni of Insaid with the June 20 cohort. So today he's going to talk about his data science journey, which is quite exciting again. And what are the expectations and the reality that are set by people when they decide to start data science? What are how the journey looks like, and along with this, he's going to give some special insights as well. So hi again, Siddharth, and I'll let you take over the session.
Well, thank you, Aaron. So quickly to everyone, welcome. And today I'm going to take up you all through one of the biggest, or the point that you would have already seen what just Hiren explained, expectation versus reality. In data science, we expect a lot of things, but when we go to on the ground, when we see, reality is very different. Why do I say that? Because there are so many products. If you go in deep and do a research and understand, there are so many products which remains in the production stage or in the development stage, but never goes to the production stage because of so many reasons, be it a financial implication, be it a time consuming, or something that you have worked hard, but at the end it gets scrapped off. So that's the whole understanding of taking how, if you start something in data science with an expectation, how you have to take it to reality. So there are so many examples which get success, but out of 100 ideas, there might be 5 ideas which might get the platform and which might get success. So let's go through a few of those ideas and let's see what we can do that. So with that, I would begin with the quote which says, failure is the fuel of champions, because when we develop a product, but we are not able to launch it, that's a failure. You had an idea, but that did not get the platform. That's a failure. But from that failure, what are we learning? Because we talk as a data leader, a data scientist, or a machine engineer, data engineer. There are so many roles that we play in the data science field as a data science professionals. But do we have that understanding? Is, if something fails, why did it fail? Do we analyze? That analysis makes us grow in this field. So the first thing we are here is to understand about the data leader.
Siddharth,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but are you we can't see your screen right now. So if you can share it.
Sorry. Okay.
We can't. Yeah. Can you screen share?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
I think I made a mistake. Yeah. Now I think you can share the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. Great. You can carry on.
Yeah. Let me begin the. Okay, well, so we are talking the first point about understanding the first difference between a data leader versus a data scientist versus a data science professional. What are these three things? When you talk about a data leader is someone who has a larger interest, who carries the whole project, who carries the whole concept behind solving a bigger problem. Either it can be a problem that is solving for a business, or is creating a solution today which will benefit in the upcoming days, in the future, for a future perspective. He is into a business concept with a larger interest, which has a business dynamics, driving economic values to the business and driving the cause for that they are developing that product. It can be an example of autonomous vehicle, where you have a concept of an autopilot, a driver who takes a brake and the car itself takes the vehicle. Now that can be a concept, but there is a leader behind that to drive that force. There's a team and a leader who is holding the team together and taking. There are times when you will break down because something that you're not getting it. So you have a 5 activity task, you are not able to get that, you will break down. So a leader at that moment of time comes into your rescue and holds it back and saying, no, this is something that has to be done. So he's the one who designs the canvas. He's the one who gives that place, and he's the one who takes the whole journey from expectation to reality. Coming down to the skills, the data leader will have something called expertise. Expertise, when we say in management, we have a term called you can be a jack of all. You can learn everything, but you have to have master on one thing. So it can be that one particular field that you're focusing, you're trying to build something. If I talk about a data leader who works in a corporation like Sony, his focus will be more on how am I going to create that master lens which can capture the beautiful picture on that blank canvas. Now, that can be a driving factor, but what inputs it requires? It requires a lot of motivation to the team. It requires a lot of commitment to that planning. So that what executes. So a data leader always executes at the stakeholder level, who interacts with the stakeholder, who interacts with the thing, who controls the finances and everything for that project. Coming down to one notch lower, a data scientist, the first and foremost thing when you talk about a data scientist is statistical thinking, because he or she is the one who is working on the data, who is working on the models and the technique and the terminologies and the technology that has to be utilized in order to make that product reach to the end user, which in our case, we use that product and we experience that product. What transforms them? It's not just that model you build and you implement. It has to also keep on getting tuned to fine tuned to get that product into that larger scale that more and more people can use without having any kind of difficulty. Coming down to one more combined concept of data science professional. A data science professional is someone who has to have the right attitude, which is where attitude matters the most. How you address the problem, how you take up the challenge of solving that business problem, be it for current, in short term, or in long run. But in data science, there is always something called in long run, we solve the problem. Either we are solving a problem or we are building a product and service that will last for a longer period of time, because we are the one who understands the data and gives out that solution which hides the economic benefit and the business driving success growth. Because every day we generated tons of data, and if we analyze that data, we have so much worth of value involved in that. So we process that. Moving on to the next, we talk about building the future. As data science professionals, we are the future builders for a company. There is a product which is there, but after a point, that product stops there. We are the one who gives a new growth to that product, or we give a new growth to the service line in that company. If it is a IT service company, we have hundreds of multiple clients, and every client has got different demands, different industry they belongs to. So each industry comes with a specific requirement. Each industry comes with a specific set of challenge. So in order to build the future as data science professional, what we need is, I term the first three concepts, which is called flat, fast, and focused. Flat, because when you work, we work as a team. So keep the structure of the team simple, keep the workflow simple, the delegation simple. That makes it flat structure. So you have easy streamlined process of information moving on from each other and the sequence is going. Then we have something called a fast. Fast because in this industry, everything moves at a very rapid speed. As when all of us are studying, all of us are going through it, you would have realized cloud is taking a bigger market share. Cloud is taking everything. Every data science application goes through cloud because there are huge tons of users growing every day. Be it Instagram, be it Facebook, all these runs on cloud. And all these are data science companies because they understand the data and they start involving the features. Focused because what products and services that we are building, we are not only building for current scenario, but we are building for future growth. So that product and that service is going to drive this business for an infinity period of time. And with every constant period of time, we will be keep on adding new services, new product lines, and new technologies will be coming up. We have to get skilled ourselves and we have to involve that. So flat, fast, focused is the technique for the building of future in terms of data science or in terms of anything. So if you want to be successful in this industry, you will have to have these three skills: restless, empathetic, and devoted. I won't put more focus, but restless is something that you cannot be comfortable with one. You will have to be always out of the box. You will be always have to be uncomfortable in doing something that will make comfort. Basically, changing something, new technology comes. Okay, there's a new technology. Get that. If that can be helpful, put that into action. Transparency is the most important thing. As a data leader, if something goes wrong, take charge of it. Try to do it. It's not about just delegating. It's about taking responsibility. It's about taking the charge. It's about explaining the concept, explaining the thing that has gone wrong and how to resolve it. At the end, I will tell you one real case scenario recently which happened in my team when we were doing one thing. It was about 1 or 2 weeks back. That explanation that will give you an idea. Devoted is about success or failure should not be your criteria, which means before doing that activity, never judge what is going to be the outcome. If you are more focused on the outcome, then the whole product line will definitely fail. So as data leader, what is our role is to focus on the problem and try to create that solution. Because if the process is correct, if the solution is correct, if the way we are trying to implement, we are going on the correct path, the result will automatically come. But if we are result focused, if we are result oriented, that okay, I have to achieve this result, we will definitely fail. And that has happened in real life. Again, I will give you one more example in that. Now we are talking about breaking the barrier. So breaking the barrier, what we are telling is there are so many barriers which comes to us. First thing, we get inputs. How are we going to solve the problem? So to solve the problem, first we need a problem statement. The bigger question is how do we formulate a problem statement? Well, we will have to ask certain answer questions. Why? How? What? When? Where? Why did this happen? How did this happen? So these are the questions that we will ask to the client, to the customer for whom we are building the products, or if we are building the product as a company and we are going to launch it for end user, we are going to understand, we are going to think from their point of view, what kind of questions can come, what kind of errors can come, what kind of barriers will come, and what are we trying to solve those questions. Now, giving an example, a company like Google, who does not build products and services for businesses, but builds products and services for end users. So what is their concept? Collecting of data, understanding what is that gap that they can fill in order to resolve. So then they put more research onto it, then they identify that problem, and then they put that. It can be like people are searching endless results and other thing. Are they getting that correct result? If they're not getting, what are the modification that has to be done in the algorithm? So those are the kind of questions, those are the kind of problems we are solving. A company like BMW might approach a IT organization and ask their data science team to do a research for them to improve the engine performance or the sensor technology. How are they going to get the real-time data? An aircraft company, when the aircraft is flying, it generates a huge amount of data points. It gets every mile that it travel, it gives a data points, the engine speed, the fuel, the other hydraulics, everything. How are they going to work? So the team at the ground is real time analyzing the data points to keep that thing going from point A to point B, because that's a critical piece of equipment. Breaking the barrier, also building the narrative to create solutions. Building the narrative means you're creating a story. You have to understand that from a story point of view. Why did that problem happen? And what you can play as a role of data science, data scientist, data leader, and how you are going to address that problem and how are you going to address that solution in order to do that. Mission critical thinking. There are times when these products and services that you build will be for some companies, for some businesses, and those businesses are having end users who are using that product. What happens if the Instagram server goes down? The Facebook engineering thing goes back into live action and try to resolve it, because every minute that is getting services down, they are having an economic barrier. So that's a mission critical thinking for them, like how to keep the systems up and running. So they have to keep on analyzing those data points and decision making. If that goes wrong, what will be the implication? If my services goes down, I have a financial implication. If I'm building a solution for the client and if it does not meet the expectation, there is a financial implication. So because the financial implication is not for your organization, at the same time, the financial implication is for the organization that you're building for. So addressing the problem for not only building solutions today, for building future proof solutions. Now, this is a chart that I wanted to show you, but I will not explain. Later part, I will give you this chart so you can always evaluate. There's three roles. One is a business stakeholder, one is a data leader, one is a data scientist. Data scientist, all I will explain is a part one. So there are two parts. One is a data scientist until who builds the model and everything. So this you can say is about development stage. When it comes to data leader, it comes into a production stage where your model is goes into production, where people can use, the end users can use, and they can get more data and they can do that. So you will have to understand the difference between this, because at one point of in your career, in your data science journey, you will build from data scientist to data engineer, or you will go to a higher level to understand. So you need to understand the front end as well as the back end, how it is going and how your model is performing and all, because you need to constantly optimize that model, because you are the one who is going to handle that data. Business stakeholders, because they are going to look at what are we investing into this and how much we are investing into this, what is the return on investment it is going to be. If we're involved launching a new service, how are we going to make it monetize, how are we going to get the value out of it. So that is, so it's a continuous cycle. So data engineer, data optimization, data monetization, it's all going on. So that's whole concept of it. Now, mindset. When you talk about a data science career, all of us get stuck in one of the thing that is called production. We don't realize how important it is to understand the part of production, because production is a very critical aspect of it. It's not about just developing or analyzing the problem and building a solution. It is about deploying the solution for end users to use. And in order to have that, you need to understand the different platform that goes, be it infrastructure as service, be it platform as service, be it software as service, because there are a lot of technologies and not every company uses that. If there is only a service like Instagram, and if your company is just building an app and want to launch, they're not worried about the hardware infrastructure, but they're only worried about the software service, because they're outsourcing the service from a company. Now, that company is concerned about the production, but you are worried about your services, because if your app is not proper, where are they going to host? They have got nothing to host. They have the platform ready, but your service has to be there. But as a data leader, as a data scientist, as a data science professional, we need to have both the knowledge of development and production. As I said you before, you can learn everything, but you have to have a master skill of one. If you're talking about NLP, you are talking about AI, you are talking about machine learning. And let me tell you, AI is not about building solutions for today. AI is about building solutions of future. AI is about future. You're giving the path, you're giving the machine the idea of building what you think and how humans think and the machine behaves. Be it a robotic technology, be it self-driving cars, be it auto parking, be it sensor technology. All these are like the path of future. These are there today, but these are still on progress and collects data point every now and then. Hard work, but through smarter ways. How? Basically, as data leaders, as data scientists, you need to have one day in a week where you go and read codes written by other people. You understand the technology, how the technology is evolved, how the technology works. I hope most of you would be using our an extension called Grammarly. But Does any one of you know that how Grammarly works? Because there's a nice, interesting engineering blocks that is there by Grammarly. I will recommend you to go and read that, because that will give you how they collect that English statements and that grammars, and how they help write better way of writing email or doing your project works and other things, because they solve a problem in NLP in Grammarly. So that is all. Building skills and staying on top. You have to be on top of cloud technology. You will have to be on top of huge new library. You will have to be on top of your skills, because this industry is moving fast, and this is something that is building. In a day, we build, as per IBM analysis, we build about petabytes of data. Now, analyzing petabytes of data is very, very stringent, and you have so much of technology. It's not about Jupyter Notebook, or it's not about Google Cloud Platform. You have to have the all kinds of cloud technology to analyze and gather that huge amount of data and that huge amount of terminologies that you can be building up. And 1 second. So, and understanding the requirements of job. When we apply for a data science job, it's not about just applying for a data scientist job. It's not about applying. So if you're applying for Google, the requirement for a data science professional in Google is different. If you're applying as a data scientist in Apple, there is a requirement is different, because they are solving a different problem. Apple, when hires a data scientist, will hire for improvising their product, because they are not developing solutions for any other company, but they're developing solutions in their own product, because they want to enhance their product quality for their end user. Google, the same way, building solutions which can be used by other businesses. So it is building solutions that businesses take when they need on use. That is the same way when a startup builds up, a startup will have a different path. In India, if Swiggy see how frequently the customer is ordering, where are they ordering, what are the reviews they are giving. Based on the review, the ratings are coming. Based on the ratings, they are evaluating how to enhance that quality of that restaurant, so that Swiggy makes some money out of it. So there are different ways of understanding. Governmental body, banks, financial institutions, all will have a different role, all will have a different structure of it. Now, coming into a more mission critical thing of build a big dream. Big dream is, at one point of our career, all of us are, have a will to be an entrepreneur, to do something in data science space. What we can do. So in order to be that big chain, or in order to have that company on that data science space, you will have to have that expert oriented skills. It's not that you have to be that jack of everything, and you have to be that master of everything. No, it is an R&D. I always say, there's a term I use, R&D, research and development. There is a research goes behind, and there's a development. Before the polls, there's a pre-poll comes, and they say this election campaigning happens. So they go and they collect that data, and they do a statistical research. That's an organization. They have gone into audience research. There is a research council who understands which are the television content that people watch and how frequently they watch. They observe the viewership and other things. That is also a data science agency, because they collect the data points on a month-on-month basis, and every month they analyze that data, and they say, okay, this sector, this genre did good, this channel did good, this channel got this much viewership, there's a drop, there's a gain, what are these. So they give that review that we don't understand. So if a weather department analyzes that, so weather department of government body is also a data science things. When they have equipments, when they have machine, anything that happens in a day to day, even you and me, we evaluate ourselves, what, how much we have put our effort, how much time we have been using on social media, how much time we have been productive, how much time we have, all these data points we are collecting to improvise ourselves, that okay, today I spent 1 hour in social media. So my target was 50 minutes. I exceeded 10 minutes. So that 10 minutes you have to rework just to retain on your 50%. Building something requires you to understand what you are going to offer. If it is an AI service, you are going to build something that is for your future. As a company, it is you who has to think as an entrepreneur. Are you going to uh, approach clients and solve their business problem, or you are going to do an extensive research, build a product where people will use, the end user will use? So are you going to be the Apple, or you want to be the Facebook of Silicon Valley, that you have built a product they are using and you are making on monetary terms? Or you're going to be like Apple, where you're building a product, mastering that to the core, that people love your product. That is what it is. So in that solution one, again, I will tell you FPP way. Fast, your flat, fast, and focused way. So that you will have to do. FFP is flat, fast, and progressed way. You have to keep on progressing. Building solutions is something. And the most important thing is having the belief on you. You might fail in the first attempt, your first prototype might not work, but you will have to have that understanding that this is something, if not going, you have to have that next alternative of analyzing why it is not going and building that. Even Elon Musk, when building SpaceX, had failed because they wanted to build something. The most innovative product that they have built in the history of data science is understanding how to re-land the rocket boosters, the usable rocket boosters, because it cost $1 million to build one rocket booster. And if they can reuse that rocket booster, they're going to save $1 million again in the next attempt. So that they had taken attempts and they had failed multiple times, but eventually they succeeded. So that is something that they built. So that is something, the commitment, the focus way you have to build that. And coming into the last point, which is about data versus science versus arts, it's very simple. Data is something that you are getting what when user use, you get all this analytics and all. And that data, when you analyze, you have new products, new services, new streamlined things that can be offered to user in a more practical way. Science is the core behind that cause. What is the cause? How you are going to solve that? How it can be improvised? Art is about solving the root cause of it, and how you solve that, and what makes you distinct from other data science companies in the market space is the one. If you have to become the next Silicon Valley, as Sundar Pichai says, you can be the next Google, you can be the next Facebook, you can be the next Apple, because things never remains the same. So it's your art, it's your skill, it's your science, it's your technique, how you do innovative way and how you do it cost effective way, that gives benefit to your end user, to your customers, to your clients, and to the industry itself. That's all with the PPT. I will hand it over the session to Hiren, and I'll open for questions. I would love to hear the questions. If you want me to explain anything else, I will be able to do that. Hiren, over to you.
Yeah. So you said you wanted to show something regarding
Yeah.
requirements.
So are you going to take the questions now, or should I show them
You
now?
can show that, and then we
Okay.
can proceed with the
So
questions.
I wanted to show a couple of things. Basically, just a second. So I wanted to show you a couple of job descriptions, that how it works, but I don't know how my, okay, yeah. So I can show now here. So when we approach a company, so for example, I will show a company called Kindle where we are there. So if you talk about a data scientist role, now the first important thing is we need to understand what kind of company it is, which space they are into, and what requirements they look for. Like Kindle is a service oriented IT service company. It's a pure service oriented company based out of Newark, United States, and they build mission critical solutions, infrastructure solutions for their clients, which are available on 65 plus countries. Now, if I talk about this has got a particular job role and all. I'm not worried about anything. I'm worried about this. So what they say, your roles and responsibility as a data scientist for this will be, you have to build so much solutions, data models and all. And they tell you what are they looking for. They are looking for someone which is having this particular language, where they can manipulate, where they have got regression, simulator, scenario analysis, modeling, cluster. They have got Veka. Veka is a tool, by the way, which was developed by a New Zealand-based university, because the faculties of data science department, they wanted to solve this problem of data visualization. So they analyzed it. If you search in Google Veka, you will get that, and there are slides which you can go through. It's a very interesting and very easier tool. Probably some days again, Hiran might arrange a session where we will go through all these tools. So PyTorch, TensorFlow, NumPy. So these are libraries. And one important aspect is, always remember, as a developer, as a solution architect, you need to keep on referring to the documentation. Most of us, which we don't do, is we don't refer the documentation, which is where we lack the skill. Documentation gives you everything at one go. Now, if you see this, now you will analyze, okay, these are the required skills. So now out of these 5 6 points, you will understand what are the skills you have, what are the skills you don't have, what are the skills you can build, what are the skills you need to build, what are the skills you have already but you need polishing, you will do that polishing. So when you approach that company also understands, okay, this you have, this you are still polishing, so you have a learning edge, you have a learning instinct, that you can learn faster, you can build faster. That is the thing. And it's very simple. You will have to plan your week. Don't plan your months, don't plan your things, plan your days initially, then plan your weeks, then learn this. If you want to approach 15 days or 2 months down the line to a company like Silicon Valley companies, go through their website, see what are the roles opening is there, what they expect. Here in this role, there is no experience they are asking. They're just asking you the required commitment and skills. But if I talk about a data architect, someone who has got an experience and wants to move into a higher role, you will have a position where you're doing, where you will have more critical roles, more critical requirements, and more understanding of this, because you will be interacting with the end user, you will be interacting with the customer, you will be directly with one-on-one conversation with the customers and understanding that. So you will have to understand. There are so many things, like I can say DevSecOps operations engineer. This is also a part of data science, but this is a part of production side. This is not about development. This is about production side, where the application is running and you are the one who is making this application to run on real time and making that the application is successfully running. Now, if you have model operation engineer, you have data engineer, where the data engineer is the one who takes that ready model from data scientist and put that. When you talk about a data engineer, they have got certain different responsibility, because they have to be aware of all the cloud technologies, SaaS models, and other integrations, pipelines. You will have to have continuous updation, continuous integration. You have to be keep on keeping the application up to date and all. So there are different requirements. So what I will request is, whenever you're looking for a role, go through that required company's career portal, or go through that required company's requirement for that particular job role. And if you don't have something, don't get disappointment, because today internet is so vast that you can always build these techniques, you can always understand these skills, and you can take time out of it. You can learn very easily from YouTube. You have, like, if you want to be an expert in TensorFlow, you don't have to do so much effort. You go to YouTube and search for TensorFlow channel, you get everything out of there. In 4 part, you will have NLP from zero to hero, you have ML, you have got AI, you have got all kinds of things, because every week they launch videos, and you watch these videos 2 times, 3 times, and break down, take the points, understand what they're trying to tell, and go and approach that. At the end of every video, they will have a sample notebook, go through it, understand that. You will be absolutely getting hands-on with that experience. So everything is available. It's all requires that how dedicated, how focused, and how excited you are to learn into this field. This field will only give you success, and this field has given success to people who are excited, who are innovators, who wants to innovate new products, who wants to nurture new products, who wants to launch new products from scratch to the end user. That is where you will be happening. So that's what I wanted to show you. Hiren, you can take over.
Yeah. Okay. So we are encountering some questions.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so first question by Mr. Virendra Dubey, if you can
I think
clarify how
Hiren,
and from
your voice
where
is breaking a bit. Can you check your mic? Your voice is breaking a bit.
it's still breaking. Just a second. Yeah, it must be from my side. Just a second.
Yeah.
Is it totally not audible? Or
No,
is it
now it is
fine?
clear.
Okay. So first question from Mr. Virendra Dubey, if you can clarify how and from where to start, because after training there is no experience regarding data science.
Uh, can you tell me the name again? Hiren, can you tell me the name again of the questioner?
So you can
Again, it is breaking, Hiren, your voice. I think
yeah, I'm extremely sorry. It's from
just
my
no,
side
no, no.
actually.
I think there is a bit of echo. Is it from my side or is
No,
it?
it's from my side. My internet is fluctuating right now.
No, worries.
I'll firstly repeat again the question. If you can clarify how and from where we can start regarding data science, because after training there is no experience in data science. So how can person start?
Well, the first thing you can start off is go and build some. Maybe like you can go through some projects in which sector you want to build in data science your career. See, you want to be an AI person or you want to be someone who wants to solve problems, which kind of problems you want to solve, which kind of sectors you want to target. Go through that, find out a problem, and there are so many projects available on the internet space. You go through that, you start exploring the small projects, start doing in small chunks, break down that whole project into small chunks and start working. That's how you will build the experience. Because when you don't have experience, what you can show is you can show what skills you are bringing into that job if you are being given that platform, and how committedly. There are GitHub libraries. You go to the repositories and fork that repository and you work on it and see what changes that you can give or what contribution that you can give and you can give. So to start with, take the baby steps of understanding that particular algorithm or that particular thing. So for example, if you want to if you want to master the skill of computer vision, work on that. Go through the documentation, build small computer vision projects, understand about the computer vision, how it is worked, how the small things are taken up, and take the question and take that solutions, build that and show it to someone who can evaluate. You can always approach inside a team and you can ask them to evaluate, give them their input, and you can improvise. If there is a negative comment, that is a better opportunity because now you got an opportunity to improvise it. So that is not a discouraging one, but that is one. That's how you can build up in this space. It's all about doing regularly. I think you can take the next question also.
Yeah. So following up to this question, is there any scope who wanted to do a data science career transition and has already had 10 years of experience in their industry, but then now want to transition to data science in their own industry?
Yeah, any you may be belonging to any industry. You have the opportunity to transition at your level of experience. Probably what Hiren said, if you are having 10 plus years of experience, it is a matter of fact that where you are going to target. See, you have a business acumen knowledge already because you must be into base level of mid level management where you are understanding the business. You must be interacting with clients. You must be in the technical space or in the product space or anything. You will have to understand where your strength lies. Are you from the product side? Are you from the technical side? How are you going to do? Because at your level of expertise, what matters is you're going to take up the business decisions. So you will be focusing on building a team, building a solutions, building a product, and transition can happen at any given point of time. All you need is to see where your strength lies and work on your strength and use that expertise to drive into the sector. And also, I will give you one tip is to have that understanding of that industry where you are trying to make the transition in data science. If it is a service oriented company, you have to have that approach of having that diversified mindset, because you might have, today you're working with an automobile client, tomorrow you are working with a financial client, and you also have to have that industry expertise understanding. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay, so the next question being, are data analysts in demand right now? Because most of the roles available are for data engineers or for solution architects.
No, it's not like that. It depends company to company again, because there are some companies who merge that one, the data analyst and data scientist, because eventually what they have to do is, if they have to keep two different people, then it splits the things. Like a data analyst will have that, they will gather the data, clean the data, and all that process. So what happens? A data scientist or a data engineer has to explain the whole narrative, whole story, and everything. But eventually you can have that skill. So if you say, if you have data analytics skill and data scientist skill, you are in a greater chance of securing that role, because you are bringing two roles, in the two expertise into one role. So the companies are also benefiting out of it. Because now what happened, now you are the old person who will have the data access directly, and you can build a model without any interruption. So your team sizes goes down, and you will be doing. But yes, data analyst role is still in popularity. It will take some time in moving the transition, but yes, eventually these things will start merging up as the industry evolves.
Okay. So we have a special question that we will take at the very end. So Sheena Shaji is asking if you can share your data science journey. So should we keep it for the last question?
Which one? No, you can go ahead.
Sharing about, okay, you can then share your data science journey with the audience.
Okay, this one. Okay, this one you remind me in the end. I will tell you, because there's
Yeah,
a
that's what. Like in the
beautiful
end,
story
would
to
be
it.
good. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
there, there are 2-3 stories that, as I told you in the PPT session, there's a case-to-case scenario is there, and there's a transition journey is there. I'll tell you that in the last. That's a very beautiful journey that happened.
Yeah. So next question by Deepti Andim, is learning machine learning and AI mandatory for data scientists and analysts? Actually, yes, but yeah, you can
Come
go ahead.
again. Come again. Learning.
Is data machine learning and AI mandatory for data scientists or data analysts?
It's a nice question, but yeah, both are interdependent on each other. See, because machine learning is something that you are trying to build, that instructions, or you're trying to guide that machine on how to do. So you have to have that basic understanding of algorithm. But in order to become an AI, you need to understand what you're trying to build. See, machine learning is always a subset of AI. So we always know that AI is a bigger space. So if something that you are building for future, you are going to decide how you are going to build that machine also. Because there is no predefined machines or predefined model. If you are building a custom solutions, you will have to gather that. So at one point, yes, you need to understand the machine learning, but when it comes to AI, it will be a different subset as you grow. But yes, you need to have a little bit understanding of machine learning.
Okay. So the next question again from Mr. Amandeep Singh. If we do prepare for a data science project in one domain for, let's say, getting experience, but later a job opportunity arrives from any other domain, will it be useful?
Well, any role, see, the thing is, you can master in anything. Like you have got, say, I'll give you an example in Insaid. When in our batch, in every batch, we get 4 expertise. You have got retail, you have got marketing, you have got healthcare, you have got telecom, you have got finance, and other things. I'm not saying that you only focus on one domain. I'm saying at one point you focus on one domain, but you need to understand the core, because the core remains the same for everyone, whether it is visualization, analytics, machine learning. The core remains the same. On the top of that core, you are adding the layers of stack. So for example, I have learned data science. Now I'm adding financial analytics, I'm adding healthcare analytics, I'm adding telecom analytics. So you build that, you make your core strong, and then start adding the layers. So you can be, if you have the core and you have the understanding of that business, then you can be in any industry.
Okay. So some of the questions are like, They are from from Mr. Mohammed is asking, they are from healthcare service field, and or will it be difficult for the company to hire them since they are in healthcare industry? So is
No,
it regarding your domain actually? That's what I'm
no,
thinking
it's
firstly.
see, it's not that if you are in the healthcare space and now you're trying to move into a different space, you are going to see, for example, if you are in a if you are in a healthcare industry and you're trying to move into a IT service company where you want to experience the exploration of multiple customers, it is not difficult because all it requires is you need to have that mindset because it keeps on bombarding. Like for example, if you talk about my industry, I work with Kindle Services where it is an IT service company. So we have different requirements, but at one time you might be working with one clients because we have premium clients. We have clients specific with. For example, I work with a customer called AXA Insurance. AXA, everybody knows, is the Europe's biggest insurance company. Now that's a dedicated account. Why? Because that customer has got a lot of requirement because that customer has got about 150 countries operations and they have got multiple channels of data coming into it and multiple ways of developing. They are into financial services. So does that making me stop in the financial services? No, because I'm at tech services also, I'm into financial also, I'm into cloud solutions also. So we are building multiple solutions. So there is no way that you cannot be into transition. You can be. All you need is you need to have that switching skills. You need to keep on switching like this. That if there is a solution comes, what happens to be. So now you're just restricting yourself in the four walls of healthcare. Now you have to be open space. So that's all. But Hiren, before going, I would just like to ask you, am I going with the expectation of the audience and the answers are meeting the requirement? Because I don't want
Let's
to
ask
let
the
them down.
audience. Let's ask the audience. So, how
Yeah.
guys, how are you liking the session till now? Okay, great. So yeah, we are getting a positive feedback, so no worries about that, I
Yeah.
guess.
So
Yeah.
let's go with some of the more questions.
Okay, so one question is I quickly saw are additional data engineering skills like ETL, Hadoop. Hadoop is actually a big data skill, but ETL regarding these skills are preferred for data science roles. Do you have
Yes,
any input on
ETL,
this?
ETL, when you're telling, these are all like, see, in tech services, in service-oriented companies, what happen whenever you take up a problem, there is a change process. Okay, and ETL is more onto production side because what happen when you are going to make a change in a customer's application, which you have already launched, there is a process to it that we have to go through a change window because there is a time frame on the during the business hour you cannot touch any application in any production system. So it is during the off business hour we do that. So if you have an ETL learning or ITL certification, and then you are having a data engineering certificate, and you're having the data science knowledge, that is absolute. That is going to be a bigger chances of it because companies are going to have you because you're now having both the technical service solutions understanding as well as the problem solving understanding. So you are at a bigger success.
Okay. One question that I saw that from someone named SDNA, I don't know the name, but they are in a storage domain. Say VMAX, NetApp, HP, 3P, AR for 10 years. Is transition to data science possible for them?
Yeah, absolutely. You see now they have got a very good edge because now you have storage domain understanding on different things. Now understand in storage there are a lot of things comes because storage for any project for any account is a very mission critical thing. Because if your storage goes down, if your storage fails, if your storage devices stops working, the whole the client will not be able to do anything because you are the brain of that one. So if you have NetApp, you have got storage solutions, you have got everything, you can do that. You can plan out on that. You can talk to your existing team manager and you can work with them, understanding what kind of problems that comes into that and how you can solve that and how you can integrate that into cloud. And that gives you a bigger end because you are accessible to all the data points. You can absolutely do a transition into this career.
Okay. One final question before we move on to the journey part. So will there be are there specific quality assurance teams or testing teams to test data science solutions, or does a data engineer or data scientist do the testing themselves? This is actually
See,
more oriented to ML ops actually.
yeah. So here there is an interesting part. As I told you, development to that. There's something called most of us when we develop the solutions as techies, we know we have to create a virtual environment, we have to set up the environment, because what happens when you develop a solution, the solution might work well in your system, but when it goes to the production environment, the production environment will say, okay, there might be a problem or there might be a breakdown comes in, because what runs perfectly in your application might not run because you are running in a different environment and we don't set up that system. So yes, there is a process which happens. If when you're working, if there is no there is a quality control department, but in data science, what happens? The data scientist works with the data engineering team to launch, because when the engineering team are the one who takes over the product to put that into the system. So you need to be aware of what are the engineering requirements to run your model or to run your products into the production environment. So before that, you have to set up your system as per that, so that you can. And most of the time these things happens on cloud environment, so the development is not much critical. But yes, engineering team you always need to have. So data scientist and data engineer works hand on. So if you're working in an organization where they don't have a dedicated team, you can keep one person, or you can be the person who can build that skill. Or if you have that idea, you can always interact with your data engineering team and you can build that. Generally, when we start doing that, we always talk with architects. So we don't call them data engineer is like they just work on the server side and data center side, but we call them data architects. Architect is the one who makes the plan, so they give you the architecture, so based on that you work, so the things go smooth. So if anything goes wrong, the architects are in there for to guide you.
Okay, so is our data architects, sorry, architects like basically intersection between data scientists and the engineering roles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the data architect is the one who leads the whole of that whole department completely, because for every project that you do, there will be there will be architects who will be building up from customer side and from the company side. So they both will be working together to see what are the architecture requirements there and how that hardware and software technology requirement is there, and they are the one who is going to give you the guidance, right guidance. And before doing anything, that you go to them and approach them and understand how the architecture will work, because they have created the architecture which can work without any interruption. So that's how they work. So these two person, and so there is a triangular structure in between all of them.
Okay. So we are now in the last 5 minutes of the session. So now I like you to share a data science journey with your audience.
Well, so I had a journey with IBM in 2013-14 for about a year and a half or almost that. And there I was working on that technical part of it, where I used to work with US, UK, and Canadian clients. So I had a privilege of working with Bank of America, Air Canada, which is now, I think Air Canada is reduced down the operation and all. So we used to handle that operational part. And it is there, it is in that period of time when I realized that how important it is to understand that data, because we used to get a bunch of data. And I would like to share an experience. It was November 2013. There was an activity going on. We had a client in UK. It was an insurance company again. And we had one transaction where the files were moving from one location to another location. And to your fact, Kiran, the file got stuck at 1:15 a.m. And until 2:15 a.m., the file were not moving. It was a panic moment from both the sides, because that was the most historic day for us, because when the data movement was happening, we were constantly in call with the data science team. And it is that moment when I realized how important it is for me as a professional to understand the data, and as a professional to build that skill of understanding not only data, but at the same time understanding the background part of it, how the data works, because these were like huge tons of data that we are moving up. Then eventually I had a break, and then I went to pursue my master's, and it is there when I realized I want to when I started taking up my journey in IT, MSc IT, I started understanding about cloud and other thing. And then at the same time when I was doing MBA, because I did both the courses simultaneously. So I was doing MBA and I was realized now that I'm doing IT, there is a financial implication for every business, for every project. Let me understand the financial part. When I understood the financial part, and 2020 when I started my journey back again with the Insaid, I could relate the financial figures, the numbers, because the financial part was very strong. And in between this, before beginning my data science journey with Insaid, I went to Malaysia. I worked with Malaysian clients and Malaysian companies. There I realized these big engineering companies, they put a tons of money, and how much data points they generate, and how I got the excitement without any formal training. I used to analyze that data by using a lot of project management tools and other things. It is there I built that knowledge and understanding. When I came back, I started working as storage technical specialist in Kindle, which currently I'm working on. At the same time, I put all these data science. I work for building data solutions for AXA, and to solve their problems and to solve their end users experience. And at the same time, in the cloud transition, where understanding of managing the cloud infrastructure for data science applications and projects. So far the transition was very smooth, but yeah, in the initial days it was a bit pressure I had to do. I had to sacrifice my, reduce the amount of sleep, and have to put more focus on understanding libraries and examples. So I will always request everybody, whoever is part of this session, do your best. Don't worry about the result. Don't focus on the result. Focus on the process. Focus on the journey. Do every bit of thing that you have planned in a significant manner, in a consistent manner, and you will see the result will automatically fall, because you are building something which has got a very big thing, and you are the one who has that potential to make that company flourish. So whether you talk about silicon companies, whether you talk about any companies, any in country, any industry, everywhere you have a scope, everywhere you have a success. Failure will come, but failure will teach you what not to do, and failure will also teach you what to do. So do that, and not to do the incorrect one. So that's all will be. And my journey is so far is still not end here. It is still going on. And right now, I have developed a small team of my own, which is working up on a product. We are trying to build up a multiple products for launching up in end users. So probably by 2022 end, we will be launching a couple of products. So that should, so far it is going good. And so far I'm getting opportunity from my team and from my clients and from my company and from my manager, the motivation. So that's all for my side.
Best of luck. So it was great. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for sharing this part. Actually, it was a very important one, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this part.
And there was a question that you
Basically
wanted to
gaming
take in the
in the
end,
process.
Hiren. There was a question that you wanted
Yeah,
to take in the end.
this was the question. Can you share your data science journey? That was the question.
I think, okay, again, your voice is breaking, but I can see in the question
Okay.
session, there are two questions. One, there is Lavanya, which has asked a question: without experience in DS, we can't able to apply to companies. Lavanya, it's absolutely a myth that if you don't have experience in data science, you cannot apply. You can apply, provided you have to prove that you can create that solutions, and you build on small projects which you can show it to the interviewer or show it to the data scientist who is conducting your interview, that you have that expertise to build that business solution. Because it's nothing that you have to have an experience, because it's a field of research where you have to do that. And if you're from HR background, you have so many problems in HR domain which you can solve in your company. You can talk to your HR manager. If you're an HR manager, you can always work on with the team, and you can build up a lot of HR solutions in data science using that data points of human resource people or the company staff that you are having. So there's absolutely so many things are there. You have payroll, you have the process, you have everything. You can build a lot of things. So don't feel that you don't have experience, you cannot build. You can build your career success. That's all.
Okay. Am I audible now? I'm sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
network has
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
bad
You
today.
are audible. You are audible.
So yeah, the final question was that about your data science journey itself. So yeah, you answered that already. So I guess we are good to go for today, and I hope everyone liked the session. Can I get
Yeah.
a quick feedback in the chat from everyone? I mean, we have received a good feedback already, but yeah, I want that from everyone as well.
The idea behind this session, when me and Hiren we were discussing, I told Hiren that I want to address as many questions as much possible,
Yeah.
because PPT is not something that will solve that, but questions will solve that thing.
Yeah,
So
we did go through a lot of questions and a lot of good insights were available as well. So thank you everyone. You have been a great audience today, and thank you Siddharth as well for joining us and sharing about your journey and the various insights that you have given today.
absolutely, it's my privilege, Hiren, and whenever you want me to be addressing any kind of questions, I am
Sure.
open to Insight. I'm very thankful to Insight because it has given me the perspective of data science, because of which I have a career in data science and I'm transitioning, and I'm able to build my own enterprise on data science. So I will be always available for Insight and always be available to answer questions whenever it is given me the opportunity. Thank you
Okay.
very much for giving me the opportunity for today.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Can you share your LinkedIn profile with the audience? I mean, I have shared it already, but it would be good if you can quickly share it once.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah, sure. Also, I would like everyone to know that this recording will be available on Insaid Thursdays. It is also already being live streamed on YouTube, and it will be available on YouTube as well. So,
And Hiren, I
oh,
just want you to inform the audience that there are a couple of certificates and couple of batches that I had received from the organization, which probably I could not update in the last couple of days, that I will be updating. And I have just shared my LinkedIn profile on chat. So chat can go through that, and that will go up. There's not much updated because in the last couple of days I haven't updated. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's fine. Totally fine. I guess people would like to connect and ask some questions. So
yeah, no
that would be
worries.
good.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I will be able to.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it's time to end the session since we have other
Yeah.
audience to go to other sessions as well. So thank you again for joining, and I would like to thank the audience as well for joining us today.
Yeah, thank
See
you,
you
Hiren,
next time.
and thanks to Insight team, Manvinder, and everybody for giving me the opportunity to answer the questions. And I hope I've reached the expectation of Insight and made a wonderful
Yeah,
session.
it was a very great session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.